Hey folks, welcome to the first February Cocodona info session. I'm your race director, Steve Adderholt. We have a bunch of great information to go through with you today. But first, we're going to bring on one of our partners for the race, Näak, and Bree Sullivan is joining us from Näak. Thank you so much for joining us, Bree. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to everybody.
Yeah, we're excited to have you and Näak's awesome products along the course. I think the first time I discovered Näak, I was calling you guys Knock because we're not familiar with the little, two dots above the umlaut. So I messed that up. But tell us about the name, I guess, first and foremost.
Yeah, of course. So Näak is a Montreal-based endurance nutrition company that's super passionate about fueling ultras and being sustainable. So we can talk a little bit more about that. And to introduce myself and who I am to the company, I'm the North American Partnerships Manager. So you'll see me out on course. You'll see me at your expos and packet pickup check-ins and hosting some fun activations. But I'm here to walk you through everything you need to know, from how to pronounce who we are and then what you're going to find on course too.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, it is pretty convenient that Knack and snack rhyme, so that's an
It's
easy
a
way
nice
to
ride.
remember it.
So even if you're 200 miles in, I think you can remember, I think I need a snack and I definitely need snack.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. And have you run an aid state? You were an aid station captain or assistant captain for a year or two at Munds
Yes,
Park. Is that
yeah.
right?
So I feel like I've been deeply ingrained in the Cocodona culture since the launch of it. So yeah, I was a part of the Muns, the Muns aid station as part of the captaining and support team there for 2 years, and then I've been out pacing and crewing and everything else for other years. So I know the ins and outs of how people look at certain points on the course and like what you guys might need. So hopefully I can speak to that as well.
Yeah, awesome. That's great that you're so familiar with Cocodona. So tell us about Knack, the how you guys came to be, why you're here. Um,
Yeah, great question. So, Näak as a company was founded by two men who are super passionate about outdoor endurance. They were both triathletes for a really long time and then realized that they just didn't have proper fueling for going further and having ultra distance efforts that they were trying to do. So they decided to come together and create a brand that was really catered towards endurance efforts and what you're going to need to go longer and sustain for a longer distance in time. So we like to say that with the Ultra Energy line, which is what you're going to find on course from NAC this year, it really is to help sustain you from anywhere 30 miles to 250 miles to 400 miles, whatever you're looking to do. But it really is to sustain you and give you the energy you need to just keep going for longer and longer periods of time. So when it comes to 250, 125, the 80-mile distance now, even the Eldon Crest distance, we have something that kind of caters to every person. And they've also done this with a really intentional, sustainable aspect as well. So our packaging is reusable or recyclable. It's compostable where we can. It's also really intentional with the ingredients that we use. So we use a lot of upcycled ingredients so that we can diminish our footprint. And we know that that's something that really aligned with Aravaipa's culture and what we're trying to create around the races that Aravaipa hosts, and Cocodona specifically, especially for such a long distance and effort. We want to lessen our impact. So there's a lot of alignment in not only the nutrition that we can offer on course, but also our mission and what we stand for values wise as well. And in regards to kind of the benefits of NAC, you're going to find that we have something across the entire line. So we have solid nutrition with bars and waffles. We have semi-liquid nutrition with gels and purees. And then we also are going to have a salted soup broth that's out on course. So in the middle of the night, or when you're feeling like you need a boost of something that's a little bit nourishing, that's on the other end of the spectrum from something sweet, the salted soup broth is my favorite product that we have, and I rave about it to everyone. But it tastes like a miso broth, but it's going to have all of the nutrition that you still need to keep going. So, across our entire line, you're going to find that our products have carbohydrates, so ranging from 40 to 55 grams of carbs per serving across the board, as well as a little bit of protein so that we can help with muscle breakdown and recovery. For the longer that you're going, the more you're going to need to sustain your body because you're doing a big effort. And then you're also going to have all of your BCAAs and your electrolytes baked into all of our products, whether that's a bar or the salted soup mix. So we really do want to help you succeed to get across all of these benchmarks, these beautiful places along the course, and cross the finish line in Flagstaff.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I think so perfect that you guys are targeted specifically at the ultra
Yeah,
distance for the fuel. That's so great, and also the sustainability, which is near and dear to my heart. We'll have
yeah,
TerraCycle bins at every aid station where runners can drop off, the Näak wrappers and any other nutrition product that you have, and we'll get that.
yeah.
Recycled in as best a way as possible. You touched on sustainability,
Yes.
the NAC's sustainability focus, and like I said, that's near and dear to my heart. Talk about that a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, so we are putting a lot of effort into minimizing what we do. So that comes in several different areas. The packaging is one. So if you have an opportunity to try any of our like single serve packets, we actually have them created so that they're reusable, so that you can reseal them, refill them, and use them over again. A lot of our packaging with our purees and our gels, they're recyclable or compostable, and we want to be able to maintain that over time. We're working on a lot of projects behind the scenes too with our partners so that in the future we'll be able to lessen our single use impact. Obviously, there's a lot of effort that goes into that, but it's something we have in the making and it's something we're really focused on. We're also a certified B Corp. So that's something that we're really proud of. And the standards are really hard to achieve, but it means that we're holding our company and our products to a very specific standard to say that we care about the environment, we're sustainable, and we're doing everything that we possibly can to maintain these standards of the products that we're introducing to the market. And in terms of ingredients, we also use upcycled products, like I said. So whether that's the banana that we're using in our products, it's upcycled so that we're using bananas that we're going to get tossed out so that we can sustain the efforts that we use. Also, all of our maple syrup is upcycled. So it's coming from maple syrup production companies that would have had to toss this out because it wasn't a specific standard or grade. So we're trying to also support the ecosystem that we're in, that they're not just tossing things out and wasting products that are still really good and usable and valuable. So that's just a few examples of what we do and like why we're so proud of what we do. Also, if you order online, our proceeds go to planting a tree with Veritree. So we just have a lot of core pride of this being a part of who we are, and it's something we're excited to align with Aravaipa on and like bring that mission to our partnership.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really one of the things that first drew me to NAC, and I love that you guys are leading the industry, in all of those things that you're doing. It's every time that I'm out for a long run or ride and am eating the single serve products that you really need to keep your nutrition going,
Definitely.
I'm like, ah, man, I hate that this is a throwaway packaging. So that's so awesome that you guys are working to change that tide. That's great. Um, I said one thing that drew me to NAC at the beginning. One of the things was cricket protein. You guys were using
Yeah.
protein source from crickets, which I am a huge fan of. Whenever I'm out running and there's a cricket or a cicada, I will eat it, which may seem crazy, but I do really enjoy that you guys were based with cricket protein. You have since, I think, changed away from that.
Yeah, so to give you some context around the history of us using cricket protein, when initially the company was founded, one of our founders is Vietnamese, and he grew up utilizing cricket protein as a really sustainable protein source. So when they decided that they wanted to create this company, and again with sustainability in mind, lessening their footprint, they were thinking about, okay, if we're going to have a protein product, how can we do this in a way that still aligns with our ethics and like what we're trying to do? And cricket protein was one of the ways that they really wanted to highlight a sustainable nutrition protein source. Um, since then, they brought it to the mass market, and it's been mixed reviews. I honestly think that they have been ahead of their time in so many ways. But we are primarily plant based now. So there are still a few products that have cricket protein in them. We have 2 bars and a protein recovery mix that you can find that still has cricket protein in them, and it's on the label. So if you're interested in exploring cricket protein, it's still available, and we do have it on the website and
Sweet.
everything too. Yeah. And primarily what you're going to find on course is a plant-based option. So we use an organic hydrolyzed oat flour and some soy protein and different vegan protein options that are going to make our products more approachable across the board too. It kind of helps with people who might have sensitivities or allergies as well. And you can find all of that information about what we use on our website. But again, all of our ingredients are holistic. We use natural ingredients in everything that we do. So our ingredient lists are pretty simple and boiled down. So we're very confident in what we're able to offer on course to sustain all of our athletes.
Great. Okay, that's really good. That I'd love that you still offer that cricket
We do
protein.
still have
So
it.
if eating cricket protein doesn't bug you, then check that out. But
Amazing.
otherwise, yeah, it sounds like the products you will have on course are plant proteins. Speaking of that, tell us what will be available at aid stations.
Yes, yeah. So across the board on the course for all of the distances, you'll have a wide variety of our products. Like I said, like we have something that caters to everyone, which I think is amazing in any race, but especially for a race that you could be out there for multiple days. You want to be able to have a variety of products, and we are really proud that we're able to provide that. So you're going to have our Näak protein bars. So it's a solid bar that you're able to use. You'll have berries and nuts, peanut butter, chocolate. We have three other flavors that could be on course. We aren't sure how that will be divvied up, but you could find almond chocolate and a banana chocolate out on course as well.
Hmm.
We also have waffles. So you'll have a variety of waffle flavors on course for you at the aid stations across the distances as well. So we have a berry waffle. That's my favorite. We have chocolate, vanilla, salted, maple, and a salted caramel. So you kind of have a variety across the board of what's going to sound good to you over time. Something that sounds good to you 30 miles in may not sound good to you 210 miles in. So you'll have those options. And then we also have purees that I like to call our super powered baby food. They come with a resealable cap so that you can take them down at the pace that you want to take them down, which is really nice. So if you're on a big climb and you want to just have a sustained effort, you could do that. If you want to sip on it as you're going down a downhill or on a flat, you have that option. So we have apple maple option of that. And then we have a savory option that's a sweet potato and butternut squash, which is one of my favorite products that we have. And then we also have gels. So we have a salted maple gel and a chocolate gel that has caffeine in it. We don't have many products that are caffeinated. So that's one of the things that we offer that does have caffeine. And then again, like our salted soup broth. So you'll have the miso soup broth available at select aid stations. We're going to align that with overnight aid stations or aid stations that are higher in altitude that you could get cold. So any aid station that you would anticipate potentially needing broth, we're hoping to have that aligned so that you'll be able to have that as an offer so that you can still get all the nutrition you need as well as something that's warm and comforting. So across the
Awesome.
board, you're going to have a little bit of something at every aid station.
Yeah, that's great. The salted broth is so good. I the first time that I tasted, I was like, I don't know about this. This seems weird. Although, ramen and broth is pretty standard aid
Yeah.
station staple. So it made sense. But when I tasted it, I was blown away at how good it was. So we'll have, the normal ramen and broth available at aid stations. And then also the salted broth, which will be served warm. And I'm stoked for runners to try this. It's really good. And the purees
As
are
a I
so good.
highly recommend mixing the salted soup broth with potatoes. So, like making a mashed potato broth for like higher density calories, or even taking ramen noodles and mixing it with the broth. I mean, yeah, it's been a lifesaver for me in races, and I can't wait to hear feedback on it.
Yeah, man, I'm hungry right now. Well, great. Okay, so I think it's a really good idea for runners to train with the products that they'll have available on the course.
Yes.
I think very smart idea and highly recommend it. So how can runners get those products now to train with?
Yeah, great question. So you'll be able to find all of our products on Näak.com. You also have a discount code that you can use for Cocodona, Cocodona 15, so that you can go on, get your products ahead of time. They'll also be linked on the Cocodona website. So there will be a logo link to our website so that you can go directly there to shop. We'll also hopefully have the products at the training run that's coming up so that you can have access to that. And then I'll be at the expo and packet pickup. So you'll be able to test some things out there too. Obviously, we don't recommend trying new things right before the race, but we'll be there in person for you. And an option that I really want to bring up that will help support you getting prepared with nutrition is our free tool called the Nutrition Calculator. So you can find that on our website under Nutrition Calculator. Cocodona, all of the distances are already available on there. And all you need to do is go on, click what distance you're doing, type in a guesstimate of how long you think it's going to take you. And then it's going to ask you some specific questions about you personally. So your age and how much you sweat, and do you have any dietary restrictions? What kind of food do you want to eat? Are you mostly wanting to do solids or a mix of things? And it's going to help you break down a nutrition strategy for the race. So it will provide you with how many calories you should have per hour, how many electrolytes and what drink you need to have per hour, aid station to aid station, breaking that down of what you need to be having. And then it's going to tell you what Näak products that you can think of using, and like what mix of products you can be using so that you're hitting that caloric goal and that the nutritional goal, whether you're focusing on like carbohydrates per hour or anything like that. It's going to provide you with that strategy. So that's a free tool for you to use, but I use it all the time, even though I have experience with doing different races. It's just really nice to have a tool that can help you say, like, this is what you need. Here's a breakdown of how that can look. So I highly recommend just using that even when you're starting to train, so that you have an idea of how you should be training your gut, how much you should be taking in per hour and per day when you're doing something this long and this intense, just so that you know what to prepare for. And then you know what to order and what works for you and what's going to be on course that you know that you can rely on.
Yeah, that's an amazing tool that you guys are making
My
available
favorite.
for the Cocodona runners. That's really great. We'll get an email out to all registered runners with a link to that tool. We'll also have the nutrition tool on the website and in the runner guide. And then in that email, you'll also get that discount code that Bree mentioned. So all that'll be coming out for you at your fingertips. That I'm glad that you mentioned, the on a race of this distance, taking in the calories that you need, because you can't really go negative where it's really going to hurt you. You're going to have to take a while to recover. And
Yeah.
if it's a shorter distance, you can put yourself in the negative, but over multiple days like this, you really got to treat it as a rolling buffet of just eating constantly.
Truly.
We'll have meals at almost every aid station, and then using the Näak products to supplement between aid stations. We'll have those products that you can grab and go and take with you between aid stations. So awesome. Well, Bree, thank you so much for your time and all the information, and for supporting the Cocodona runners. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to see you guys all out there, and happy training.
All right. All right. Take care, Bree. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I am really happy to partner with Näak. I think all of our partners are partners that I choose personally, and I believe in the brand, and Näak is one of those, and they're really good tasting things too. So let's get now into some race updates. The first thing is the new Cocodona website that launched a couple of days ago, and there are still some items that we need to clean up. There's a lot of information and links on that new website, and some of them are not completely cleaned up yet, but we're getting to them. But that is a brand new, really slick looking website. We just launched a new distance, the Mingus Traverse 82 mile distance. So we already have quite a few people signing up already. So that Mingus Traverse 82 goes through kind of the heart of the 250 course. Starts in Prescott, ends in Sedona. And so you get some really amazing sections of that full course. It starts on Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. You'll be right at the front of the 250 runners, so you're kind of like not yet in the peak of the 250, but you're right towards the front of those 250 runners. The cutoff is very generous. It's not necessarily based upon the cutoff that is needed for this 82 mile distance, but rather kind of more just aligns with the 250 distance cutoff. So for 82 miles, you get a 44 hour and 45 minute overall cutoff time to get to Sedona. The course goes through, right after the start, goes through the beautiful Granite Dells, Fane Ranch, the grasslands of Fane Ranch. You'll probably see some pronghorn antelope as you're going through. Big climb to go up to the top of Mingus Mountain. And then when you get to the top, overlooking the Verde Valley and Sedona, the Red Rock Walls of Sedona, and the San Francisco Peaks behind Sedona. So amazing views up the top of Mingus. And then you drop all the way down, cross the Verde River, and then you have a like slow rolling climb up towards the finish line in Sedona. And like every little hill that you crest in that climb to Sedona, just the views get more and more amazing. So very happy to announce this fourth distance for the Cocodona series of races. Mingus Traverse registration is open now. Another change to one of the race distances is the naming of what used to be the Eldon Crest 38 is now the Flagstaff Crest 39. We rolled out the new course a few weeks ago. Awesome course as a tour of the trails of Flagstaff. Really great single track for that 39 mile distance. Now we've have the name to match the course is now named the Flagstaff Crest 39. We know that you're probably heavy into your training for the race as you're like getting up to some peak mileage. We're 13 weeks out. If you're feeling like you need a coach or a training plan to help you finish out your training leading into the race, we recommend Sundog Running. They're our official training and coaching partner. So there's links to Sundog on our website. Also, just look out for search Sundog Running, and they have multiple training packages available, all the way from like a very simple plan that you can just take the plan all the way up to a very handheld and individualized coaching package. So check out Sundog Running. And speaking of training, highly recommend that everybody, especially if you're new to Cocodona, to come out for our official training run on April 5th. It runs on the first 37 miles of the course. It is the crux of the race. It's the hardest section, and it can knock you out of the race. It every year knocks out a lot of people in that first little stretch. So come out and join us on April 5th to get experience on that section and see what it's going to be like. Registration for that training run can be found on Ultra Sign Up. Just go to search Cocodona and then click on the store tab in Ultra Sign Up, and you can register for that training run. We still have a few spots left for that training run. If you are planning your logistics for the race, I want to go through a few of those now. Flights if you're buying a flight to come in for the race, Phoenix is probably where you want to fly into. You can also fly directly into Flagstaff, which makes things a lot easier logistically. You don't have to buy rent a rental car. It just makes things a lot easier from the logistical standpoint. Flagstaff has direct flights on American from Phoenix, so you can fly into Phoenix and then fly on into Flagstaff. Or there are also direct flights on American from Dallas and also LA. So convenient options directly into Flagstaff. Shuttle tickets can be purchased for all of the race distances on Ultra Sign Up. Go to Cocodona page and Ultra Sign Up, and then click on the store page. Those shuttles there's 2 for the 250 distance. So the day before the race on Sunday, there's a shuttle option that goes from the Phoenix airport to the start line. And there's also a shuttle that goes from basically the finish line in Flagstaff, right around the corner at a parking lot in Flagstaff, super close to the finish line, to the start line in both of those going to the start line in Black Canyon City. That gets you to the start line in time to go through the packet pickup process and also there for the runner briefing. There's camping available at the start line, free for the 250 runners. And then post-race for the 250 runners and really any race distance, we recommend that you check out Groom Transportation. They have a convenient pickup spot close to the finish line in Flagstaff. It's at the Amtrak station. It's less than a mile away, 0.6 of a mile away. And they go to all points in Arizona and beyond. So Groom Transportation is your post-race best option for transportation. For the 82-mile distance, we also have a shuttle option available in Ultra Sign Up on the store page. And that goes from the finish line in Sedona. We've got a parking area in Sedona, and then you get shuttled directly to the race start, which is the Prescott Resort. It's also a hotel, so that's convenient for you. You can get a shuttle to that hotel, go through the packet pickup process the night before the race, so that would be Monday evening. Go through the runner briefing, stay the night in the hotel, and then walk down to the start line and then run back to your car. For the 125-mile distance, we have a shuttle that goes from, again, Flagstaff, the parking area that's right down the street from the finish line, takes you to the start line area in Jerome, gets you there in time on Tuesday night to go through packet pickup, go through the runner briefing, just like all the other shuttles. And then one thing that's unique for the 125 distance is we are offering a free shuttle from that packet pickup location into town to any of the hotels in Jerome, and then also the Lux Verde down in Cottonwood below. So a link to sign up for that free shuttle is in the runner guide. And then we'll also bring you back on race morning, Wednesday morning early, to get you to the start line to go through the last minute check-in that you need to do to get your spot trackers and use the restroom, get some coffee, do all that sort of thing before you get started to run on Wednesday morning. And then we also have a shuttle for the 39-mile distance that goes from, we've got a parking lot at a LDS church just, again, it's 0.6 of a mile east of the finish line at Heritage Square, takes you to the start line at Fort Tuthill, and then you can run back to your car. So that is race morning on Friday, race morning. Early morning pickup at the parking lot takes you to the start line. Another option that's really great is just park at the start line. You can drive your own car to the start line, park there at Fort Tuthill, and then there's plenty of Ubers that you can catch a ride from the finish line back to the start line. So those are 2 great options for you. Moving on from shuttles to hotel room blocks. So we've got a bunch of hotel room blocks available for you for any of the race distances. For the 250 distance, we have a start line hotel, which is the closest hotel that you're going to find available for the 250 distance. It's about a 20-minute drive. It's down in Anthem. Go to the website, the Cocodona website, and then go to lodging, and we have links for that hotel room block. It's the least expensive option you're going to find that's available through our room block. So check that out. The 82 distance start line is at the Prescott Resort. It's a hotel. Don't book now. We're just finalizing the room block with them. That information will be coming out soon. And then if you are planning to get a hotel room in Flagstaff and you haven't done so already, now is the time to do that. Our finish is the same weekend as the NAU graduation weekend. And so hotel rooms are going really fast. So go on to the Cocodona website, go onto the lodging page, and there are multiple options for room blocks that we have available in Flagstaff. So go ahead and take care of that. If you're scheduling and finding out who's going to be your pacers and crew for the race, have them read the new crew guide. Important for them to read through both pacers and crew alike, to read through the crew guide. It has a lot of information for them and some key rules so that they can make sure that you as a runner stay in the race and don't get disqualified. So we need to make sure that they are following the rules of the race, so have them read through the crew guide. One main thing to know is that there is a 25-foot vehicle length restriction. So that pretty much any van or a small RV will meet that criteria. We just need to make sure that we have some very tight parking in a lot of the aid stations, and then Walnut Canyon for the 250 and Crown King for the 250, especially those two, really hard to get large vehicles into both of those. So 25-foot crew vehicle restriction. Make sure that you guys are, as you're booking your crew vehicle, that you guys are meeting that. If you're not going to run this year, or you have a friend or family member that wants to come help out, we have lots of staff roles still available. Email me, steve@aravaiparunning.com, and I'll get you some information on staff roles. Volunteer shifts are now open, and you can sign up for those. If you're running one of the shorter distances, come out and join us at the beginning of the race to volunteer, and then run with us, or on the other end, volunteer at the end. We would love to have you and help all of the runners at Cocodona. We have a bunch of shifts open, from course sweeps to aid station captains to aid station volunteers. There's also sports therapy for our sports therapy program. There are shifts that you can sign up for, massage and stretching and all kinds of different modalities to help all the runners get to the finish line. And then live stream volunteer opportunities will be coming out very soon. So check out our volunteer page of the Cocodona website for all of those opportunities. And then the last thing, and the thing I'm the most excited about to talk about, is the Mexican Spotted Owl shirt. So as you can see, this really cute shirt I have on here, Save an Owl, Run Cocodona. If you've tuned into anything Cocodona over the past few years, you probably know that the Mexican Spotted Owl finds its home along the course, and they are endangered species of owl. We have changed up the course in so many different ways to accommodate and to try to lessen our impact on the owls and their habitat. So we're taking another step, and this shirt can be purchased on our merchandise page. Go to the Cocodona website and then click on the shop page. So this t-shirt, every t-shirt purchased, $5 would be donated to the Wild Earth Guardians nonprofit. They do a bunch of work for protecting the owls and the owl's habitat for the Mexican spotted owl, and then also a bunch of other endangered and threatened species in the Mountain West. So buy one of these cute shirts and support the cute Mexican spotted owls. That's all I have for you this time. We'll have another update coming out in a couple of weeks. Until then, happy training, and thanks for joining us.